How good is that? Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on your Saturday evening, actually, Motorsport Australia Saturday League Cup. It's time for round 4 of this championship here at Bathurst, the famous Mount Panorama circuit. 6.2 kilometres, 23 corners, and we're in for a 20-minute qualifying here this evening, followed by a 20-lap race. Open tyre choice here this evening, and this is a circuit that needs no introduction whatsoever, as our drivers are already out on their warm-up laps before they start their hot laps here in qualifying. A quick look at the calendar. Rounds 1, 2 and 3 are done and dusted, and here tonight we are at Bathurst, of course, part of leg 1 of this season, followed by leg 2 starting on October 18th and finishing on November the 15th. And it certainly is go. And then the finals, look at that, rounds 13, 14 and 15 coming your way, and all finishing on December the 6th. But tonight we are here at Bathurst, and a big shout out to Jason Wilkinson for subscribing. 33 months, baby. Keen to see where the next few months will take us. Thank you for that, and absolutely loving your work there, Wilco. As I introduce my co-commentator this evening, it is the one, the only, Liam Tame is joining us this evening, and it is great, Liam, not only to have you in the commentary box, because it's great to have you every week, but of course, great to be back at a real driver's circuit. This one is an absolute classic.
Couldn't have said it better myself, really. I mean, we're at Australia's home of racing. Bathurst is just the joint, right? Everyone talks about it. Everyone knows what this place is about. And I know there's a really great feeling in and amongst the paddock right now. All these drivers, super keen to be running around this 6.1 kilometre circuit. 6.2. God, I know my numbers, don't I?
Absolutely, and go Liam, says Random, you are my favourite race driver. That's incorrect, Random, because he's my favourite race driver. As big hello to Maxi Silver there, straight up treving it, if you don't mind. We'll take a quick look at these championship points as the drivers are starting to get their laps in, Liam, but this is very tight at the top here in the championship for Div 1, but no Matty Simmons this evening.
Yeah, big loss for Matthew Simmons, of course, not able to join us tonight, and that's going to be a bit of a free kick for Andrew Lee, so distinct with a point up over BCG in that regard, but I think we're going to see Gopi Mahinderjit and Matthew Allen in particular with some leaps and bounds here today, and that's not a kangaroo pun, I should add. Absolutely,
no, tell you what, working beautifully here to start with, but let's head to the circuit. Look at that for a view. Is there any better in motorsport? No, but we are heading to the track. And Liam, it looks very dark out there. Certainly on my screen here this evening, as Noodles is at the top of the timing sheets with a 2:13 flat so far, ahead of Distinct Andrew and Caleb there.
First blow to the Candonolian man, and that Autobahn livery that has become pretty noticeable, to be honest, up and through the field. You can see him there following Matthew Allen down the S's at the moment, sliding as well, Matthew Allen up ahead. He's got a nice little 2.5 tenth buffer to Andrew Lee, actually, which isn't something that we've become accustomed to saying, as Andrew Lee somewhere towards the back trying to find his way through traffic. I think I can see through the timing. He's actually up on Paul Candonolian's lap at the moment, but right now Paul in the tow of Matthew and actually Jimothy Payload, James Allen as he should be called, up ahead towing that train along. I think Ranger was getting a little bit caught up in things. These guys have, they're probably going to have to button out of this one. That's an awkward place to catch the Payload man. Luckily still 3.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session.
Absolutely, not the best place through the chase there. Payload is going to be delivered tonight. That sounds like one of my jokes, but thank you, Random 90 PS5, as we come down to the final corner. A little bit of traffic here for the Candolonian man as he comes across the line. Can he go a little bit quicker? Let's wait and see as the clouds continue to gather here at Bathurst. 2:14. He's down on that occasion as we see the laps coming in. Gopi there with a 2:13.6. But is this going to be quick from Distinct Andrew here?
Yeah, eyes on Andrew now. Around the final corner, hard on power, nice and early. This should put him to the top, I would say. And misses out, actually. 0.02 down on the best lap there of Paul Candonolian. So whatever Paul's done in that final sector, maybe down the hill even, he's really taking it to the current championship leader.
And Distinct Caleb, if I can get that out, he also had a big moment there. As you can see, Impossible. Yes, thank you, Fernando. And thank you, 44 years old now, Fernando Alonso. I thought there's still time for me yet, but Distinct Caleb in P3 there. And then it is Oz Nico, who was not around, was he, last week, I don't believe, at the high-speed ring. And then Tank Adam Elzine Pokius. This man's got so many names, but I can tell you one thing, he is quick, Liam. He's currently in P5.
Yeah, he's just been a real standout performer so far this season, as a huge moment there over the top. And I'll tell you what, if I'm Pakitis right now, I am buying a lotto ticket. Can't believe he is still facing the right direction. But I will just track back to his FR Racing teammate at the moment, Nicholas Dalton. Oz Nico, who of course wasn't with us last round, he did say that correctly, celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife. So a massive congratulations to him and to her. And I'm glad to have them back racing, or him back racing, and I'm glad that she is supportive of his endeavours.
Absolutely, you win them over eventually, that's what you do, and you just really put your foot down with the sim racing stuff, let me tell you. But it's great that the other half understands, of course, and that this is the passion, of course, for many of us guys, as we see Primer GTR now, P6 for him, 0.6 of a second off a provisional pole position. What can he do around the final corner? Is he on a quick lap? Let's wait and see. 2 minutes, what's it going to be as he comes across the line now? It's down and he stays P7. Prying Stingray in P8, but we've got less than a minute to go in this session, Liam, as Speedy Tyres 9th, Payload 10th, Rid 1 down in P11. That's not where a proud Serbian needs to be.
There's some interesting ones. Matthew Allen right now on a bit of a worm burner coming up the hill into turn 2. Tell you, he's purple right now, and Andrew Lee's up. Andrew Lee, of course, gone to the top with a 12.9, so I'm not sure if we actually saw that or not. Stonking lap there from the championship leader, only 0.068 ahead of Paul Cantinoli, though, but you can see the lap time is purple, so a great first sector for Andrew there. I think there's a couple people up and down this field who really need this lap. Of course, Ridwan Hamza is one of them, the proud Serbian number 14, team owner of FR Racing, and currently last in qualifying. He hasn't been able to get his best foot forward, needs a lap right now.
Absolutely, and Distinct Andrew, he's got, as he eased off there, we'll wait and see. Has he eased off a little bit? There's under the Fujitsu sign there, and Distinct Andrew P1, less than a 10th here at the moment. Is he getting a little bit of a toe there? It might not be a toe there from his teammate, but this man, can he go quicker? We'll wait and see there. We'll wait and see what this next sector time has to say. He's down, but if anyone can find some time, Liam, it's this man. He's already on pole position, but what is Noodles doing as he's right behind Ranger Oz here down Conrod Straight?
These two very, very close coming down Conrod Straight. Actually, Paul Cantinoli right up underneath the rear wing now of Matthew Allen. Down slightly though, he's got the little bit of a bump draft going on here. I would say that Ranger Oz Matthew Allen is probably down in his time as well. That's a huge lift off there from Paul though. I'm not sure the time's going to be there. Running wide goes Matthew Allen. I think the time's already disappeared from these laps, the BCG drivers.
Oh, he's not going to quite get it done, but what about Caleb? He leads the way. And is this going to be pole position? Andrew right there behind him. Oh, through the chase then, looking good, looking good. Can they improve? It's Andrew's time of a 2:12.942 that he's got to beat here. Driver into the 2:19s. We see some other lap times coming through here. What can these boys do? Across the line they go. Can they improve? Is it going to be better? No. And that is it. Ranger Oz there finishes his lap. Let's have a look and see. I think that's everybody through. Wow, that is our starting grid. And, well, we thought coming into tonight, Liam, that these distinct boys would dominate, but Noodles there doing very well. The Candelonian slotting that Autobahn livery into P2 and a front row start here this evening.
Yeah, fantastic effort there from Paul Cantinoli, and I think that's actually his personal best qualifying for the season so far. So even if it is a few tenths off Andrew, I'm sure he'll be chuffed to be on the front row with him, and that at least gives him a fighting chance heading into turn 1. Although I should say, turn 1 probably not the best place to be really challenging for a race lead here. There's not really a lot of wiggle room. Any sort of collision here, to be honest, you're either spinning on the inside or you are going to end up in the gravel. Turn 2 is going to be our hotspot, Trev. We're going to keep a keen eye on that heading up the hill on lap 1.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye out for that. There it is. Andrew on pole position. Noodles in second. Distinct Caleb in third. And then Ranger Oz in fourth and Oznico in fifth. Good to see him back this week. Tank Adam Elzine in sixth. Primer GTR in seventh. And then it's Prying Stingray in eighth. Ridwan Hamza, the Serbian there in P9. Jimmy Payload not quite being delivered on his payload this evening, as Random might have mentioned in the chat a few moments ago. He's 1.2 seconds off of the pace. 1.5 back there at the end is Speedy Tyres outside the top 10. But that is one fine looking livery here as we are ready to go racing. Liam, I'm hearing that 3 minutes until we're underway here.
Yep, just a couple of minutes for these guys to regather themselves, have a thought, have a quick little moment just to check the strategy, check the cheat sheet, if you will, and see what they've got. As you can see, of course, it is an open tyre choice this weekend, which it has been for a couple rounds now. So these guys have got a few different tyre options in their hands. Let me run you through a couple of them just quickly. I think the one stop's probably the pretty straightforward option, perhaps a medium to soft if you're a little bit better on your tyres. But I think, Trevor, we're probably going to see about 11 out of 11 drivers starting on the medium tyre tonight.
Medium tyre, 20 laps around this circuit. And as Liam said, an open tyre choice here this evening at Mount Panorama. But we're almost ready. Look at that view there of this circuit. It's a beautiful circuit indeed. And there it is. There are your qualifying positions as we're almost ready to go. Round 4 of this championship. Can you believe it already? And the race counting down now. We are ready to go here in this one. And don't you dare go anywhere. Look at them on top of the mountain getting ready here for the start of this race. And oh, it's tense for me up here in the commentary box. Imagine what it's like for the drivers as we get ready. You know the drill by now. 5 red lights go out and the race will start. False starts will be penalised. We know all that. Let's get on with it, please, Liam. Be sure to keep your foot on the brake. Yeah, we know all that. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Are you ready to go? Yes, lights out, and away we go. All 11 cars getting away cleanly, and there's contact off the line. And is 2 going to go into 1 here in turn 1? Noodles gets pushed to the outside. Distinct Andrew leads Distinct Caleb in third as they climb the mountain. And like you said, Liam, this is where it's going to get spicy here.
Oh, it's just a huge slipstream battle right now. This is probably the only time all night we're going to see all these guys in a train trying to get every advantage they can. A little bit further back, Prying Stingray and Goppy Behindrigit going side by side. Matthew Allen defending from Nicholas Dalton, and they're all pretty relaxed piling into turn 2. It's a very, very sensible start to this race.
Very sensible at the moment. Distinct Caleb there. Noodles holds on to second. You're not going to get through there, but let me tell you, a little bit of a bump along the wall there as we continue on lap 1. Distinct Andrew, let's wait and see whether he can pull away from Noodles and Distinct Caleb, of course. But, wow, if Noodles could have just got ahead of him there, Andrew now has the opportunity to pull away as we climb the mountain. Now down again for the first time here on this opening lap. It's Andrew, then Noodles. Now Noodles has got to start worrying about Distinct Caleb behind him. Then it's Ranger Oz, Oznico, Tank, Prying Stingray, Primer GTR there. Then Ridwan Hamza, Speedy Tyres, and Jimmy Payload has lost a position off the line, I believe. Liam, he's well down the back there.
Did just catch in the background, actually, Trevor. There was a collision between Jimmy Payload, Jackson Austin, Mr. Speedy Tyres, and I believe Ridwan Hamza as well, all coming a cropper in the cutting. So that was just in the background of the shot. Don't think we were quite able to see it from the broadcast camera, but it's going to be a long race for these guys. Luckily, not too much time lost, but it's certainly not the way they want to start this race.
Ooh, is that Ranger Oz in third place? I think it might be, as we see him ahead of Caleb now. There he is, and Caleb under pressure here from Nico. Oh, Nico, Tank, and Prying Stingray there, the teammates, 3 together. Are they trying to work together? We saw in the opening 3 rounds how important that slipstream was. Still important here, of course, but not quite as it's a traditional racing circuit. Hello to you, Kieran, and Snorkel as well. What a great job Snorkel does behind the scenes here at RaceOnOz. Did you know it is and there is a bit of a moment there, but Nico gets through okay as we've got some issues there on my screen, but it's coming back now. Did you know the longest running GT7 series, I believe, I've lost my second screen in front of me, Liam, but that's what I love about this. It is, we have been around for ages here at RaceOnOz.
It's been a very long stint we've been around for, of course, tonight's race as well, based off the Eternal Sunday League format. So it's one make, Sylvia S15 touring car for the entire season. Takes us all the way into early December. So it's a very long ride, very long season, all capped off with a playoff final series. So, of course, some people might think that Bathurst would be the ideal finale for an Australian racing series like this. Of course, Motorsport Australia sanctioned event. So a huge thanks to those guys, of course, for trusting RaceOnOz with the running of their annual championship, I should say. It's something that they're trying to do more regularly. But yeah, awesome to be here at Mount Panorama. Only 4 rounds in though, Trev. There's still a very, very long way to go.
Absolutely. Of course, don't forget the playoff final system as well. 8 drivers will make it. 4 drivers for the final round, of course. We take a look at the on-track action here. Ranger Oz holding on to 3rd position from Distinct Caleb as we go down Conrod Straight. Loving these camera angles, by the way. As you can see there, Caleb doing very nicely there. Can he have a go here? Is he close enough to Ranger Oz down Conrod Straight under the Fuso sign? And he's up here. Purple sectors for him. As is he close enough? Is he going to look to have a go? Down the inside. He's wasting no time, Liam. And he's up to 3rd now as he gets the job done on Ranger Oz.
Oh, he did run slightly wide out the other side of the chase though, so that just compromised him slightly. Something that's going to frustrate Ranger Oz. Ranger Oz is actually a very, very big advocate for smart racing. Someone who always wants to be thinking about what's ahead, what is the battle for the next lap, next race, and thinking championship land always. So Caleb was going to pass him there. He wanted to make sure that neither driver lost too much time. And so these guys now have got to put their head down and launch a bit of an attack towards the top 2, who, let's be honest, have actually stretched their legs a little bit. Andrew Lee currently about 1.5 seconds ahead of Paul Candanolian in 2nd. And yeah, a few air gaps forming in this field now, so drivers just settling into the rhythm, starting to figure out what's underneath them for the next 16.5 laps.
Absolutely, just settling into a bit of a rhythm. There's Caleb now up to 3rd. And of course, the Gamesmen, don't forget about them, Australia's oldest independent video game retailer. And they've got plenty of classics as well, but we're in for a classic here this evening. Ranger Oz behind Caleb. It's getting a little bit murky out there. I wonder what the weather radar has to say, but Nico now in P5 under Mark Taylor and the Fujitsu sign we go. Prying Stingray in 6th. Tank is under pressure from Primer GTR here. Now, he's only a young man with plenty of experience. I've heard that he's a Lewis Hamilton fan, and the reason I'm saying that is because he's got Lewis's helmet, of course, but he's under all sorts of pressure here with Primer and Ridwan right up behind him, but he is absorbing that pressure like a sponge, and he's doing very nicely there in P7.
Yes, opposite side of the field to what we're usually used to seeing him in. Of course, P2 last time out of the high-speed ring. Potentially, some would argue, probably affected by the heavy slipstream pack racing, almost similar to NASCAR, to be honest with you, at the high-speed ring, of course, a Gran Turismo classic circuit. But even slipstream unaffected, P7 is just not really where we're used to seeing this young man. He'd probably be hoping towards the end of this race he can pick off a few of those guys up ahead. Of course, the car directly ahead of him, Prying Stingray, one of his good friends and teammate of his in FR Racing. And then ahead of him, Nicholas Dalton, who is putting a best foot forward right now. P5 currently has had a pretty rough start to this season, taken out by his team boss in round 1 at Tokyo, of course. Don't know who remembers that. That was a big incident to start our season. But Tank, he's looking okay so far. Fuel, I would say, probably pretty similar to everyone else in this field. 15.9 that time by, so a little bit down on what Andrew Lee's doing. But realistically, if Andrew Lee is your benchmark, you're doing a pretty good job.
Absolutely, no arguments there. Number 44, of course. for Lewis Hamilton. Youngest driver in the field, only 14 years of age, like we keep saying. Unbelievable. One lap pace, still learning. Takes years, doesn't it, to perfect the art of racecraft. And as you said, Lamb, P2 outright in the high-speed ring. Best ever result for him last time out, but he's got a bit of work to do. Prima GTR Ridwan, speedy tyres, here we go. Speedy tyres then right behind Ridwan Hamza, and you can see there that battle continues on now. Jimmy Payload at the back, 12.5 seconds off of the pace as he makes contact there with the wall once again. Fastest lap is a 2:14, and we've got Jimmy there going around at 2:16, so we'll keep an eye out for him. But this man is clearing off at the front, and I'm seeing a lot of purple here at the moment, Liam. He is just continuing on here. 2.7 is the gap just after 4 laps for Distinct Andrew.
He is lapping, and that's putting it politely, to be honest. These laps are very quick and very impressive. 14.9 into a 14.8, and currently purple. It is some unreal speed from this man, who of course is known as one of the quickest Gran Turismo drivers in the world. 2023 Motorsport Australia GT7 champion, of course, so won this event 2 years ago. He's nearly 3/10 up. Trevor, this isn't even a qualifying, he's just having fun out the front. It is an unreal stranglehold this man has on the scene. And look at the gap in behind, it's actually Caleb now, Distinct Caleb, who has jumped into P2 ahead of Paul Candonalian, so it's a distinct 1-2.
Well, this is what we feared. Not feared, but this is what we thought might happen. Distinct Andrew and Distinct Caleb there, first and second, but well, Caleb, he's still got a little bit of work to do here. Andrew might be skipping off into the distance. 3 seconds is that gap for him at the moment. But Caleb there in second. Noodles right behind him here as we ride on board with these beautiful, beautiful Nissan cars that we are running here, of course. The Silvia S15 touring car, basing that on the Sunday League format. One car for the entire 15 rounds. And look, we can look around, Liam, at this beautiful Nissan Silvia car here being driven by Noodles.
Some advanced camera technology, isn't it? This has got to be some of the best stuff I've seen in a race car, to be honest. This quick as well. Reminds me actually of the old days. Not that they're the old days, of course. There'll be some people getting very angry at me for calling them the old days. Watching Dick Johnson coming down Conrod and the in-car race cam, of course, swiveling around, having those in-car interviews. Tell you what, if we were talking to Paul Candonalian right now, what do you think he'd be telling us, Trevor?
Well, I reckon he would be very, very nervous, very tense, and he would be very focused indeed. I love how Liam says back in the old days, when it's about 2009 for him. But anyway, Distinct Caleb there. Ooh, a little bit of a moment there. You can see Noodles just joking there, Liam. Of course, a little bit younger than me there, but look at the work going into that wheel here at the moment. And Caleb, is that a moment for Caleb further ahead? And Noodles, this mountain, it's not about finishing first, it's about surviving here at Mount Panorama, isn't it, Liam, each time we come in?
Definitely a moment for Caleb. He was very lucky to get away with that. I mean, for anyone who's seen races around Mount Panorama, and I would assume most people do, it is so easy to put a foot wrong, to make a mistake, just to overstep ever so slightly, and the consequences are just mammoth. You're always a millimetre away from a huge accident at this joint, and just watching the cars over the top pretty much anywhere from turn 2 through to turn 18 at the elbow, you are always threatening the walls.
Absolutely, always never far from hitting a wall or having an incident here. It is the Australian home of motorsport, of course. As we continue to watch it, Noodles, we'll get back to the broadcasting cameras. Thank you very much. High tyre wear as well around this circuit. Softs for quali only, of course. Medium to soft potentially here this evening, as we see those cameramen getting a good shot. There is Ranger Oz, Nico in P5, Prima GTR in P6, then it's Tank in P7, so we're seeing some gaps here. And then the team owner, a little bit of pressure on Prying Stingray. What do you think he's feeling, having the team boss behind him here at the moment? Any team orders here, do we think?
I think he's only just passed him, to be honest, although just having a look at it, potentially it was Stingray getting dropped It was actually, just thinking back to my earlier discussion around Pakitis, Stingray's actually dropped back in the last lap, so dropped that spot to Pakitis. And yeah, team owner all over him at the moment. Not sure there's going to be any team orders here. These two do race hard and they love going at it. Yeah, I think it's just going to be business as usual right now. Only lap 6 at the moment, so we're not even halfway into this race. Only just past a quarter, actually. Oh, math is just really my strong point today. As Stingray there, clipping the wall coming up through Reed Park, gives a run to Ridwan. Luckily for him, there is just no chance of passing over the top of Skyline here.
No chance of getting through there. Absolutely correct. FR Racing here. Ridwan Hamza. And he is a classic, of course. FR Racing founder and WEC Championship leader for the Imitation Games, of course. Reigning Track Stars Div 1 champion and lots of other things. Great achievements there as well. And he continues on now and continuing to chase down his teammate. Love this shot down Conrod Straight. But lap 6, 6:12.18, 1/3, I think, race distance. Yes, maths as well. Not great for me. Not that it's not great for you, Liam, but what I'm trying to say is, when are we going to see some pit stops here? Are we going to see them midway through this race?
Just thinking the exact same thing. Probably a little bit further than midway. The talking I've been hearing is probably somewhere between 12 and 14 laps. We're going to see people finally dive off the medium, go to the soft tyre. Have it on good authority there, Trevor, that every single car in the field started on the medium tyre, as we suspected.
And that little birdie telling Liam about tyre strategy, which we would fully expect. Liam knows exactly what is going on because he runs the show pretty much as good morning, Guten Morgan, I think that's how you say it there for Ricardo. Good day, you lovely Australian people. Well, you're not too bad either over there as we take a look at Jimmy Payload. Great to have you with us, Ricardo, here this evening, or your morning, as we see Jimmy Payload there now 17 seconds, and his lap times not the most consistent there. He set a personal best of a 2:15.653 and then back into the 2:17s. But this man, as we head back to the front now, look at the consistency, Liam. 14.9, 14.8, 14.6, 14.7, 14.9, and your supplementaries are a 14 as well.
It's pretty frightening, to be honest, and even looking back at Caleb in behind him, it's been scarily quick from him as well. Actually, Caleb was able to take a 10th out of Andrew that time by, so 14.8 plays a 14.9 for the P2 man, Caleb Birtles. Pretty similar tyre wear as well. Actually, Andrew is using less fuel than what Caleb is too, so bit of a insider info there from the lovely people at Gran Turismo and Polyphony Digital giving us some statistics about these cars. And actually, just looking back at a few more lap times, you can tell there's a few cars behind that are starting to find more pace. So Paul Candidolian in third, 14.9 last lap, and then Matthew Allen a little bit further behind with a 15.2. So the pace is there. Actually, a 15.0 a little bit further back than that for Nicholas Dalton. So every single driver in our top 5, their lap times are separated by a little over 2 tenths right now, and we're 7 laps in.
There is nothing in it, is there, here as we continue on from our race leader. There is Caleb, and you mentioned those times. Look at that, P2, P3 Noodles is right there with him, not giving him anything across the line. What's this going to be? A 15.1, 2 minute 15.1, lap 8 of 20 here in this round 4 of the Motorsport Australia Esports Saturday League Cup by RaceOnOz. A big thank you to Australia, Motorsport Australia, of course, Esports, who have trusted RaceOnOz to run their event again this year. A big, big thank you to you. And my goodness, we need to get on board with Noodles once again. This is a very, very close battle here. Who's going to blink first, and who are we going to see come into the pits? Is it worth Noodles maybe pulling the pin here and coming in the pits? What's more powerful around this circuit? The undercut, the overcut? What are they going to do?
I think the undercut's pretty powerful. The only thing they've got to be mindful of is that to pull off an undercut here, realistically, you have to be changing tyre compounds. If Paul Candidolian were to pit this lap, he would have to put another set of medium tyres on. And that would pretty much just play into the hands of every other driver, because even though he might get a little bit of track position going for him, it is so easy to pass down the bottom end of the circuit, of course, into the final corner, into the chase, and up into turn 2, that a quick man of Distinct Caleb would be able to rocket up to the back of Paul with a fresh set of soft tyres and pretty much just take that second position back off him like candy from a baby. So it's not that simple, to be honest. He's got to think about what's going to work in the long run, and if he can goat Caleb into going that little bit longer, while being mindful that you don't want to get caught by the guys behind, who are also starting to look like they're going to have a bit of a battle. So everything's just tightening up. We're getting very, very close to pit stop time now. Actually, we have had our very first pit stop. It was Jimmy Payload right at the back going for the mega undercut. He's still 47 seconds off the race lead, so this could be a bit of a strategy play from Jimmy to try and throw the Hail Mary. Although looking at things, I would say he's probably just struggling a tad more than what others are. It's going to be a long night for the Payload.
Absolutely big night for him. I guess he's got nothing really to lose down there. Who knows, you might get some weather or some other natural event that could happen that could get him back into the racing action. Ranger Oz continuing on there is Ranger Oz down in P4, but he's doing very well here. P4, a man known for his black and white liveries. We learnt, didn't we, Ranger Oz? Matthew Allen, who is 2020 SBS Speed Week E-Series competitor. And this man, he goes by many names, but Mr. Strategy is one of those, Liam. And he always finds a way, doesn't he, with the quickest possible strategy. He's one to keep an eye out for in the strategy department.
He's a very clever competitor. As I saw in the background there, there's a few changes for position going on in P8. Ridwan F1 getting backed by Jackson Austin Speedy Tyres. These guys having a bit of a ding-dong battle for P8 right now. Not really caring about the end result. But yes, Ranger Oz on screen right now. That black and white livery, of course, seen everywhere, no matter where he runs, whether it be Adrenaline GT, in the FIA GT World Series, or of course in the Motorsport Australia Saturday League Cup. Run by RaceOnOz, he is always in these black and white colours. If you see him in anything else, I beg your pardon, I would be checking his temperature immediately. Of course, does think a lot about the strategy. Usually, any sort of strategy tricks that we've got up our sleeves as organisers, Ranger is right on top of it. You can't really pull anything by him. He's always thinking, he's always poking and prodding at different tyres, different fuel options, and how he can go. It says a lot about how the race is going that he is still up in P4, 7.5 seconds off the lead. He'll be thinking already how he can try and better himself going forward.
Absolutely. He's 2.6 off of Noodles. 1 second as well ahead of Oz and Nico, so there's a little bit of breathing space, not much. As are we going to see some pit stops here? Let's wait and see. But almost at half race distance here, round 4 of this championship, and I hope you are enjoying it. And of course, drove around Abu Dhabi, of course, in the Michelin Asia Cup a couple of years ago, did Ranger Oz, so he knows how to race in real life as well. Despite that scares me, the real life stuff, but I'll be happy on Gran Turismo 7, thank you very much. But here's Nico, P5 for him, no pit stops at this stage. Then it's Prime at GTR getting a little bit shabby there, as so is Tank Adam Elzine. But we've got a battle here, 8th, 9th and 10th all together. And Jimmy wishes he was a bit closer to this battle, but 8th, 9th and 10th, this battle's right the way throughout the field here, as Speedy Tyres is in an FR sandwich.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Is that an FR sandwich, Trevor? Would that be a Speedy Tyres sandwich? I mean, you never really call a sandwich by the bread, do you? That's probably a conversation for another time. Little pet peeve of mine, actually. Just getting animated thinking about it, but probably not as animated as these guys behind the wheel right now. 3 cars battling around Mount Panorama. It's a pretty good combination, if you ask me. Ridwan leading and doing a pretty decent job, to be honest. He's fallen off the back of his FR Racing compatriot, Paquitas, who is a little bit further down the road. Ridwan at the moment, they're doing a pretty fine job holding off Speedy Tyres, who has been setting some quick laps, actually, Trevor. 15.2 on lap 7, so Speedy's got some speed, to be honest, and if you can find a way by Ridwan, he might be able to disappear down the road.
We could indeed. Speedy by name, speedy by nature. He is all over the back of Ridwan there, and absolutely spot on. It's not about the bread, it's about the fillings, and that's the main part to play in this. Speedy tyres there, staying in P9. I reckon that is he close enough to line up a move on Ridwan there? We'll wait and see. Maybe not close enough. He's only 3/10 further back here as we get a great shot there. Down Conrod straight we go. He's down on this lap, and he really needs to clear Ridwan there and maybe get a little bit further up the road to potentially have a go at Adam Elzine there as we come through the chase now. And very easy to make a mistake here in these beautiful cars. And Prying Stingray now is potentially going down the outside. Surely not, Liam. And off! Prying Stingray there is off the circuit. What happened there?
Looks like he's just gone far too deep into that final corner, and a bit of a balls up, if you will, by Prying Stingray. Of course, using his local dialect, the British driver relocated down to South Australia. Bit of a mistake there anyway. 6 seconds now he's lost to that little battle pack for 8th and 10th, or 8th and 9th, I should say. So 10th position for Prying Stingray, as we see there, Jimmy Payload in the gravel at the exit of the chase. I was just about to make the comment, actually, Trev, that Jimmy Payload was going to be the biggest benefactor after that little incident. He was probably going to get the undercut all sorted. Instead, he's just lost even more time to these guys. So everything he's just gained is lost immediately. And it's just going to be one of those nights to forget for Jimmy Payload.
Absolutely. He's roughly a minute off of the lead. I don't think he's going to be in any sort of risk of getting lapped here, Jimmy Payload, but still 1 minute off the pace. But look at this man all on his own. 5 seconds clear of P2 here on this occasion. Sumi whizzes by there, and Distinct Caleb, P2 Noodles still in P3 here. So 3.5 seconds further back to Ranger Oz, who will be thinking about his own strategy and what he's going to do here. But surely we've got to be seeing these drivers make their pit stops shortly here. We're on lap 11 of this race. There is a very high tyre wear around this circuit. And as we've been talking about all night, mediums, they're all on mediums, aren't they? We learnt from the little birdie chatting to Liam. Mediums to soft potentially here. But as it stands at the moment, Distinct Andrew could be winning this race very, very comfortably. But a lot can happen around this famous Mount Panorama circuit. Nobody wins at Mount Panorama, they survive. And that is one of my many famous Bathurst quotes that comes to mind here as we see Noodles comes across the line then. 1 second it is. There's Ranger Oz. Oz Nico, they're spreading out a little bit here. Another consistent time there as well on lap 10. As across the line goes Primer GTR at 2:16.1, and the 5 laps before that, 6 out of the last 7 were 2:15, so they were doing very good. There's Adam Elzine, the young 14-year-old Lewis Hamilton fan. Ridwan in 8th there. We know Speedy Tyres just behind him. Prying Stingray, he's got it all to do. Still 5.2 seconds. That is your top 10. And there is Jimmy Payload at the back. And, well, he's getting some airtime, if nothing else, Liam, for the Gamesmen sponsorship here on that beautiful-looking car.
So what, if Gamesmen were paying him a bit of a packet, they would be paying him pretty generously, even if it is at the wrong end of the field. That banana yellow is what he's calling it, basing his car. Definitely as a very nice base for the Gamesmen. A little bit different to their standard black and red colours that we'd usually see in Div 2. But yep, Jimmy Payload just jimmying on, to be honest, for the rest of this race. It's going to be maybe a little bit of learning, a little bit of suffering, and a little bit of just trundling around and taking whatever points you can get. Of course, this season so far has been a season of attrition. There's been a lot of guys dropping out, having disconnection issues, being caught up in accidents. It's just been a real firecracker of a season, to be honest, and it's hard to guess, hard to really see where things are going to go. But Jimmy Payload has actually found himself inside the top 9 with his recent results. He's on 11 points currently, only 4 behind Danny 249 Italy, who of course isn't here tonight, Trev. So whatever he scores tonight, that is a couple more than whatever Danny's going to score.
Absolutely no Danny tonight, of course, one of the privateer entries there, and no Matthew Simmons as well. But the world must go on despite no Matthew Simmons. There's Distinct Andrew. Boy, that would have been a good battle. Let me tell you there. 2:15.1, a little bit down, but still a handy buffer there. Back to Caleb there. 5.5 seconds is the gap. Back to Caleb. We might ride on board and take a look at some of these beautiful in-car shots of the Nissan Silvia. As you can see, I hope the race has been well so far. Hello, says Water Arrow. Good evening to you. 12 people watching us here on your Saturday night. It's a busy weekend of motorsport as well. There is something on every day of this weekend, and there's only 2 days in a weekend, and that's very jam-packed indeed. But what does Noodles do? What are you doing, Liam Tame, if you're inside this Autobahn car right now?
At the moment, you just pick at the pit stop, to be honest. It's a bit of a waiting game. We're at lap 13 now. This is towards the latest stages of when I thought we were going to get these pit stops. About 3 lap window I think I gave us earlier on, 12 to 14. 13 would be pretty smack bang in the middle of that actually, so my grammatical skills probably a bit of a lacking tonight, but that's okay. We're watching racing, we're not judging an English competition. So still watching Noodles threading it down the hill. There's a couple things, of course, you just have to naturally take your mind away from when you do race Bathurst. Going down the hill and over the top of Skyline is certainly one of them, as you thread the car over and then chuck it through the S's, through down towards the elbow. There's just, you can't really think of things while you do that. It's something that you very much got to have your full attention towards, and then all the thinking and all the breathing comes right now when you're heading down this long hill. It's actually a lot of undulation in this hill, Trevor. Can't really see it through the broadcast or much on game, but that's all very up and down, probably the easier one to see. And of course we are very downhill all the way down into the braking zone for the chase. And then all this right now, this is actually an uphill braking zone, so very easy to pull up the car nice and late. And we can head on now towards the final corner. Caleb up ahead trying to go to pit stop. It looks like Paul though into pit lane, so pit entry up over those curbs. He's going to be the first one to pull the trigger. Let's have a look here. His pit crew are waiting for him. First man into the pits. Now Ranger Oz follows him in as well. Primer GTR, they're all coming in. What is it about lap 13? I don't know, but is Noodles, we still waiting on Noodles there. He is just about to come into the pit stop here. Very slow indeed. Slow going here at the moment. In he comes. What's it going to be? We're expecting him to go to the softs. He comes, they're just putting some fuel in that car. Only 6 laps until the end. Out he comes, and it is soft tyres. No surprise there as we take a look at Ranger Oz. Out of the pits he comes. Primer GTR as well. Looking at this pit stop action. Everybody going onto the softs here, including speedy tyres in that car there. And you can see now, we're going to get back to our broadcast cameras. Distinct Andrew, is he going to come in this lap? As Water Arrow says, what a time to get the flu. Bloody great timing to get the flu indeed, Water Arrow. And Liam, I've got a little lump in my throat as well. I'm not getting emotional, but I also hope I'm not getting sick as we take a look at our race leader. You've got to look after yourself there, Murray Walker. Race leader doing an unbelievable job right now. Has stretched that margin out to 5.7 over Caleb, who is still not doing slow lap times. 15.5 last 2 laps for Caleb Birtles. It's just unbelievable the amount of lap time that Andrew was able to pull over this man on screen. It's pretty unbelievable, of course. There is no tuning, no differences in the cars. It is purely you and your mates on track and just fighting, I should say, for Australia's biggest title at the moment. Andrew Lee a little bit further up into the chase at the moment. We're expecting him in this lap. We should be expecting Caleb in as well. And pretty much everybody in behind should be pitting this lap. Actually just heard Ridwan Hamza was in the walls a little bit earlier on, in the wall up at the elbow. So turn 18 here. As we see now, that confirmation, Andrew Lee in the pits, Caleb following him in, and I think we're going to see the entire field in pit lane.
Absolutely, they're going to come in now. Distinct Caleb, a time trial guru. Don't forget about that, Liam. Also his Race on Oz debut, and that is fantastic there as we see 1, 2, 3, 4, all coming in to the pit lane there as Adam Elzine's crew, they're waiting for him to arrive. A very red pit crew there. And no surprises there, given he's a Lewis Hamilton fan. He will be a Ferrari fan as well. They're just waiting to get on their marks. Get set and get ready to change these tyres as the young man comes in. And he comes in there. Let's have a look at the fuel. Not much needed, of course. Lap 15 out of 20 in this race. He's out. My goodness me, that was an enthusiastic lollipop man there. Getting him back out there. Ooh, Primer GTR. Is he going to make a move here? He's got the warm tyres, he's all up to temperature, and is he chasing Adam Elzine? He is!
I should be able to get him here. It's going to be a bit of a send round the outside, potentially, of Adam Elzine. Can Gopi Mahindajit do it? It's going to be late on the brakes. He's already up to temperature, but Tank holds on down the inside. A very sturdy defence. And another one that happened in behind while we were watching the pit stops. Paul Candonolian back up to P2 has reclaimed that spot that he lost, Caleb Birtles, and given the distinct man more work to do in the closing stages of this race.
Absolutely, we'll keep an eye on this one. As you can see, Primer GTR there. Speedy tyres. He's just on a Sunday, might even be a Saturday drive as well there. Red 1 in P9 and Prying Stingray. And there's Jimmy at the back, loving the livery on that car, of course, the yellow banana. There he is. Distinct Andrew still leads after the first round of pit stops. But hello, is this Noodles in second there now?
Yeah, great undercut there from Paul Candonolian. And pitting that lap earlier, he also had a little bit of a fuel margin to the rest of the field. So even if he was lacking a tiny little bit in the pace department, made up for it massively in the fuel save. And yeah, has a 1.3 second gap behind. Currently purple as well for your measure. So really good pace now for Paul Candonolian. Couple drivers actually going purple now on the soft tyre. And making use of that extra grip that the Yokohamas are giving them. Battle right now for P6. Gopi Mahindajit and Adam Elzine going side by side into the chase in the background. If we can see that, there we go. Tank holding himself up down the inside. Gopi Mahindajit with the switchback. And the move's already done by the time we get to the Armour All Bridge.
Unbelievable. Is he going to have another go here? Oh, the young man learning his racecraft. He's got wisdom and experience beyond his years, but we are getting to the business end. Liam Tame alongside me to talk all about this. Of course, Mr. Race on Oz here. This young man, he's exciting. He absolutely is not afraid to take risks, but either is Primer GTR there, and boy, these two are well and truly worth the price of admission alone, but I reckon Tank is not done with yet here.
He's certainly not one to pull his punches. He will have a go here, and to be honest, oh, he switches back on him. Pulls the dummy down the inside of turn 2. That is a very cheeky move there from Adam Elzine down the inside of Gopi Mahindajit, who of course was a race winner in Tokyo for round 2. And Tank basically just pulls one on him and says, I'm not falling for your tricks. I'm going to take P6. Off I go.
Unbelievable. Wow, what an exciting young man. What a move. That is one for the end of season highlight reel there. And he is well and truly on his way now up into P6. What a move. The excitement and unbelievable stuff there from Adam Elzine. 18 people, Liam. We are rating big time here on the eastern seaboard and right around the world here. Primer GTR in 7th. Speedy tyres. Ridwan Hamza, Prying Stingray, then Jimmy Payload. 4.1 seconds is the gap. That is balls to the wall stuff there from Adam Elzine, and our chat are loving that. In fact, that might even be you, Liam, there in the chat, but look at this, Noodles. 4.1 seconds now to the race leader.
Yeah, again, that undercut really coming into effect there for Paul Candonolian. So Andrew Lee is on the same tyre now that Paul is, so he is going to have the same grip, going to have the same lap time in that distinct Sylvia. Just struggling to find it right now. I dare say this is going to be a purple lap now from the distinct man. See that lap there from Noodles, a 13.8. probably about to disappear, and there it goes, a 13.5 for Andrew Lee. And I'll tell you what, if there isn't a fastest lap or a pole position without Andrew's name on it, he wants it, and there's pretty much nothing you can do to keep it off him.
Unbelievable, isn't it? 2:13.592, and our chat, Water Arrow, agreeing with us, and that is what you need to do. But 18 people, 17 laps, and 17 laps out of 20. Hope you're enjoying this one, of course. Race on Oz, Motorsport Australia Esports, the Saturday League Cup by Race on Oz. Gamesmen, great sponsors, of course. Selby Acoustics, Australia's largest online retailer of home theatre and electronics, if you don't mind. They're great sponsors of this series. But here is our race leader now, and he has settled it a little bit. My goodness me, pulling a 2:13.592 out of the bag, if you don't mind, just to send a statement to the rest of the field that I am the greatest driver in this race right now. And is he going to be conquering the mountain? We need to wait and see. But Noodles now with a 2-second gap ahead of this man in Caleb, and Ranger Oz, he's still in P4 after the first round of pit stops there, and he's doing very nicely indeed. There he's in P4. Will he be happy with that, Ranger Oz? We'll wait and see at the end of this race. But Liam, 3 laps to go. We are getting serious here on this one now.
I think Ranger Oz is very aware of the fact that he probably could be a lot closer to Caleb. I'm not sure in a 6-second gap that there's much he could have done to really get ahead of that man or into the top 3 battle. But to be honest, Ranger Oz probably about where he should be, given how the race has gone and how his pace is. The guy's up ahead just with some unbelievable pace. Caleb on the medium tyre was one of the quickest drivers out there. Can't really find it on the soft, so he's about 0.6 a lap slower than what we've seen from Paul Cantonolian. So he's opened that gap up slightly. There's about 1.5 seconds between our 2nd and 3rd place men. And that gap is just going to update as they come across the line. So, and the gap's actually swiveled again, Trevor. So Caleb Birtles firing a shot back and putting more pressure on Paul. So there's going to be probably a never-ending pendulum between these guys in terms of lap time. We'll keep an eye on that one all the way to the end. But even looking back, you can see just stretching there behind Caleb, the Black Sylvia of Matthew Allen being chased down. FR Racing entry of Nicholas Dalton. Of course, there's just no gaps anywhere. It is 3 seconds back to Pakitas from there. Only 2.5 to Gopi Mahindajit, who has fallen off big time actually since the young man put the move on him at turn 2. Almost wonder if it's unnerved him a little bit. And then just short little 2 to 3 second gaps all the way back to 10th place Stingray, who is a little bit further back. But the race stints have just proven so close between these guys. It really highlights the skill level that we've got here in this championship, and just how hard it is to perform at such a high level for such a long time.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more, Liam. And consistency as well, always playing a big factor here. Of course, prying Stingray, getting very close to the walls. It hasn't been this man's night. He's gained some time. He was about a minute off that lead, wasn't he? But now it's down to 45 seconds. He had an incident off the starting line and just hasn't been able to recover, unfortunately for him. There's our race leader once again. Lap 18 out of 20 here. We are counting down to the end of this one, and it's hard to believe it's almost over. And as I usually say to Foggy, let's not be upset that it's finishing. Let's be happy for the journey. And we've been on this incredible journey here at Mount Panorama. And you can see everybody loving this race circuit, of course. It doesn't get much better than this as an Australian race fan. The spiritual home. In fact, it's the home of motorsport for Australians. And we don't want to see any Kiwis winning here this evening, that's for sure, as Andrew comes across the line. And look at his times. Another 2:13.7. He just keeps getting quicker and quicker like a fine wine.
We've got to be looking in behind them though, because Paul Cantonolian and Caleb Birtles right now are going at it. There's a huge battle, and Paul is in the grass trying to keep the distinct man behind him. He's still got the inside line going up the hill, but there was a massive mistake from Noodles up at the elbow. Just locked a tyre, I think, in the front left. Wasn't able to get the power down, and now he is fighting for his life for P2.
Oh, unbelievable. This battle showing no signs of letting up. Oh, down the inside. They touch, but they manage to get through. Distinct Caleb back down to third as we climb the mountain here for the 19th and penultimate time. Distinct Caleb on the inside. Noodles. Oh, which way can he go? He's not going to be able to get through now, I don't reckon. He's going to have to wait, stay in behind him here, and just look to have a crack at him later on in the lap as we climb the mountain. Oh, you don't want to look, but you don't want to look away either, Water Arrow. It's getting close. It could end disastrously here, Liam. If these two, they're side by side again.
I just can't believe the spots they're going side by side here as Paul runs deep there. He's off in the grass. Can he hold it? These guys are giving so much room to one another. They are racing the absolute buggery out of one another. And Caleb in the wall behind him didn't lose too much time. Oh my God, Paul hangs onto it. And they're switching positions again, Trevor.
Unbelievable. Oh my goodness me. That cameraman is going to get a good run. And Matt's dad. 99548, what a time to join! Oh my goodness, Liam, it's all happening here. What a time to be following the channel. And if Murray Walker could please remove himself from the screen, Liam, we might be able to see what's going on. That's better now. Down Conrod Straight, the battle continues.
Oh, it's never ending right now. Caleb trying to break the slipstream of Paul. He's going defensive though here into the chase. Paul, what has he got underneath him? He's got less tyre than Caleb does. Can't quite get it done into the chase. There's still more opportunities. Still a whole another lap to go after this one. Into the final corner here. Caleb defensive once again. It's going to be the theme of this final lap. Caleb hanging on. They're so close into every braking zone. One lap to go now to decide P2.
Oh, final lap, final lap. There we go. Thank you, Matt's dad, for following. He says, huge man. Indeed, this is going to be a huge final lap, Noodles. Oh, the race leader now, 10.1 seconds down the road. But it's not about this, Liam. It's about this battle. And that is what our viewers want to watch at home. And my goodness me, what a time to join the Kit Buyers channel family. Is Noodles. Where can he have a go here, please, on this final lap? Where are his options?
Oh, I'll tell you what, if this race has been anything to go by, there are options everywhere. I mean, they were side by side through the cutting, went side by side once again through McPhillamy Park. That's not somewhere you want to be side by side through as Paul closing up under brakes. Look at that gap disintegrate in behind. These guys are pushing so hard right now. Forget the tyre wear, forget what fuel they've got. It is just driving as hard as you can right now around this gorgeous Australian circuit. Over the top they are, into the grate and up over Reed Park, straight out close to that wall. They're both flirting with danger here as they tip it in over McPhillamy, trying to get the edge over one another. They're both in the grass, Trevor, on the run to Skyline.
Unbelievable. Down the mountain here for one final time. Unbelievable finish for P2 here in this race. Noodles has just scraped the wall there. Caleb's got a little bit of breathing space as I reckon our race leader's coming down Conrod Straight. We'll get to you in a moment, Distinct Andrew, because we need to give that man the respect he deserves. There he is. But this battle, I cannot take my eyes off it. Is it going to be a Distinct Racing 1-2, or does Noodles have time? And can he do something down Conrod Straight for the final time? Is he close enough, Liam? We'll get back to that in a moment. But this man comes through the chase for the final time. He has led from start to finish, and he's put on a complete and utter masterclass here this evening, and he is going to be king of the mountain tonight. 1 quarter to go. Here comes Distinct Andrew to continue his brilliant run this season. He wins round 4 of the Motorsport Australia Esports Saturday League Cup. But look at this, Liam, down to the final corner we go, and Caleb's got him in the end.
Now, there's a scrap as well in the final lap. Nicholas Dalton has absolutely mugged Matthew Allen. I don't know where it's come from. There had to be a huge mistake from Matthew Allen, but Nicholas Dalton on the line with P4, as that is another awesome battle to finish this race. P6 goes to Pakitas. P7, Gopi Mahindajit with another strong performance from him. Jackson Austin up into P8 with Ridwan following behind in P9. Prying Stingray is going to follow his team boss in for P10. And then there is the lonely 18-second wait for the Camesman representative himself. Jimothy Payload is going to round out our field in P11.
Unbelievable there. That's Nico there. Forget about Ned Kelly. That was the best robbery I've seen in a long time. Brilliant time indeed as we see Jimmy come across the line. But what a final result for Distinct Andrew. There it is, the champagne! And just like that, Andrew Lee takes the win. And he also got a clean race bonus as well there. And he's got his 50 kilometres up here this evening. Well and truly there as we take a look at the results. And my goodness, congratulations, Andrew, says Snorkel. I'm Matt's dad. He's Matt's dad. Brilliant time to join and watch this finish. Well done to you. And thank you for joining the family as we recap the results. Distinct Andrew there, finishing in P1. Distinct Caleb in P2. Noodles just getting a P3 there in the end. And Nico just committing daylight robbery there. Ranger Oz. What? Something's wrong there, Liam. He doesn't have a 4 next to his name because he finishes P5. Oz Nico there getting it in the end.
Like you said, daylight robbery there from Oz Nico, and that's a great performance there from him to grab that 4th position in the end. Of course, Ranger rounding out top 5. P6 goes to Tank. 7th, Gopi Mahindajit Prima GDR for another strong finish for him. Speedy Tyres rounds out the top 8. Which is all we can see on that screen before we go here to Ridwan Stingray and Jimothy Payload in 9th, 10th and 11th. A little bit of a smaller field here tonight for Bathurst, and maybe the sheer aura of the mountain might have just frightened away a couple of our drivers.
Might have scared a few of them off there, but boy, what a performance there from Andrew. Very much putting on a clinic there in many ways. Also taking the fastest lap as well. And boy, if you don't like that, then you do not like motorsports, that's for sure. But wow, what a race we have seen here this evening. Round 4 of this championship is done and dusted there. Distinct Andrew winning here tonight. And Liam, unbelievable race here. 20 of the best laps you will ever see around Bathurst. But guess what? If you thought that was good, Liam, we're coming back next week to do it all over again. We're heading to Daytona, the road course, there for round 5 of this championship next Saturday.
It's going to be a night under lights, Trevor. It's going to be a duel around Daytona, of course. NASCAR and Xfinity Cup doing Daytona this weekend. We're doing it next weekend. And I know which one I'd rather be paying attention to. Yeah, a standard 45-minute race around Daytona road course under lights. And it's going to be a very exciting one. Not sure the last time I saw a field of GT4 spec cars piling around the tri-oval, but I'm pretty bloody excited to watch it. Of course, this actually does start the American leg within a leg of our leg 1, which is Daytona, Watkins Glen Short. And then the fabled Trial Mountain, where we'll see, Trevor, our very first reverse grid of the season.
What?
So can't wait for that one, and can't wait to close out leg 1 before we have a little bit of a break over the holidays.
Cannot wait for that. And thank you, Liam. Like you said, the American leg will be kicking off. It's sort of a 3-round leg within leg 1, and I'm sure our viewers will be able to work that one out. But round 5, the only thing you need to remember is August 30, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Daytona Road Course. That is where it's at, and we've got some breaking news from Division 2. HB Motor NZ has held off Snorkel for the win, Liam. So plenty happening across both divisions in this championship.
Back-to-back wins there for HB Motor, so massive congratulations there for Hayden on a very well-deserved win. Sounds like an awesome race there between he and Snorkel. Going to have to watch that one back at some point. And you know what, Trevor, we spoke about it. We didn't want a New Zealander winning on home turf, but it has happened in Div 2.
Well, less said about that, the better. No, just kidding, but congratulations, HB Motorsport NZ, getting it done over our man Snorkel there in Div 2. Big shout-out to for all of our sponsors, of course, the Games Men, Australia's oldest independent video game retailer, great supporters of this series. Selby Acoustics, the largest online retailer of home theatre and electronics as well. And of course, Motorsport Australia Esports. They have trusted RaceOnOz to run their event, run this event again this year, and a big thank you to them. A big thank you to you, Liam Tame, for jumping in the commentary box and having to put up with me for another Saturday night. But it's been the pleasure's been all mine, and it's been an incredible night of racing we have witnessed here.
Always a lot of fun joining you in the commentary box, Trevor, and I'm not sure whether I'll be here again next weekend for Daytona. Might have to put up the gunshot crew of yourself and Isaac Fogarty back together once again, hoping to have Isaac back with us sooner rather than later. And that way we can get some Div 2 coverage going once again, which I usually do on my own YouTube channel. But we'll have a chat with the community about that one throughout the week. But for now, I think we should let these fine people in the chat enjoy the rest of their Saturday.
Absolutely. Great idea. Thank you, Liam. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Matt's dad, Snorkel, Water Arrow, everybody for joining us throughout the course of the evening. It's been a pleasure. And I'm Trevor Byers here and signing off for round 4 of this championship. We'll see you next Saturday in the good old US of A for round 5 of this championship. Be kind to one another. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next time around. But for now, it's goodbye from Mount Panorama.